So tonight is really the highlight of the night for me because we're giving the Lifetime Achievement Award to a woman named Terri Belske. Some of you know her here, some of you don't know her. Terri Belske was a person who had a lived experience of mental illness. She herself lived in a group home at Community Hope for the last 27 years of her life. She passed away earlier this year. And Terri was an early advocate for people with lived experience of mental illness. And the story I tell was in the early 90s when I first started in Morris County. We invited Terri to be part of a committee in Morris County called the Acute Care Systems Review Committee, where we look at people who are hospitalized to try to improve the mental health system. And myself and Debbie Taggart, my predecessor, brought Terri to a meeting, and everybody in that meeting said, why is a person with a mental illness sitting on this committee? That's highly inappropriate. Look at the confidentiality rules that are being broken. Look at the boundaries that are being broken. They had a million reasons why Terri shouldn't be on the committee. And Terri stood proud and sat in the committee meeting the whole time with all the judgmental looks around her. And she represented the interests of people with mental illness, both on that committee and also on the Youth Services Advisory Committee. And in 27 years, she was a leader throughout the state for supporting people with lived experience of mental illness, became a champion of people who didn't have a voice. And then in the last 5 years was on our board of directors at the Mental Health Association of Morris County, making funding decisions, strategic planning decisions, and public speaking engagements with legislators throughout the country. As a matter of fact, later in the spring of this year, the Morris County government, Morris County Department of Human Services, through the leadership of Jennifer Carpenteri and Lori Becker, are going to designate the Consumer Advocate of the Year Award to Terri Belske at the annual forum next spring. And every year, we're going to honor Terri as Consumer Advocate of the Year. Right now, it's taken for granted that people with lived experience of mental illness have a voice in the system that impacts them, a direct voice. But it was early champions like Terri Belske which allowed that to happen when everybody else said it couldn't be done, and gave her a lot of nasty looks while she sat on that committee with her head held very proud. So I want to welcome Terri Belske's family up to the stage to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award for Terri. I'm going to ask them to say a few words, but before that, I want to welcome everybody up here and just read the proclamation. The Mental Health Association of Morris County, 14th Annual Food for Thought, 2016 Lifetime Achievement Award for public service on behalf of people with mental illness and their families, in honor and memory of Terri Belske. Terri was a lifelong advocate of the forgotten and dismissed, the lonely and despondent, and she worked her whole precious life to be the voice of those who were muted by mental illness. And there's a state legislature proclamation from Assemblyman Bucco. Andrea?
Thank you. I'm Andrea, Terry's younger sister, and I had a speech prepared. What I would like to say, though, is I would like to just take a moment for everyone to feel the spirit. Feel Terry's spirit. She is here. She is here with us. And I am so happy and proud that now I know, others know, what and who Terri was all about. She never asked anyone, do you think I'm good? Do you think I'm great? She never thought that of herself. She never thought to ask that question. She never thought to ask that question of me, her only younger sister, besides Christine, who's not here with us today. And I want you to know that Terri was invincible with her words of kindness, with her actions of goodness, and with the values she placed on the lives of every single person she knew. And that is so true. And I thank everyone here for believing in Terri and feeling that spirit and helping others to follow in Terri's footsteps, which I hope to do myself, and I know my family hopes to do as well. Thank you again. This is the best thing that has ever happened.
Family picture.